Nick, it's good to see you. Today we are talking about the new retirement account contribution limits for 2023. The IRS just announced it will boost max contribution limits to 401ks by $2,000, bringing it up to $22,500. That's the largest increase on record. What's behind that significant bump?
Right. Obviously here in 2022, we've seen a higher number in inflation. That
Right.
consumer price index has seen a significant bump that we haven't seen in several years. We got to go back to the 70s and the 80s, before we see that CPI increase. So that's what's driving, that $2,000 increase on the 401k contributions to be such a big increase compared to previous years.
Right. It does make sense when you say it that way. So this was something I was really surprised to see, but you were not. We're going to take a look at average 401k balances by generation. But as we take a look at those numbers, the question is, how important is it that we be maxing out the contributions?
Right. So, I don't know how important it is to max out the contributions, but definitely putting money back towards savings. Over the last several years, a lot of savers have fallen behind because they're not keeping up with the contributions, and we're seeing prices increase with inflation and stuff, and we don't necessarily have enough money saved back in retirement for all of these expenses that have been increasing over the last year to 2 years period of time. So it is very important to increase the amount that we have going back into retirement savings. But maxing out, is going to depend on a lot of tax bracket situations. Does it make sense, to put it into the 401k or Roth IRA and so forth?
Yeah, good point. All right, so this was interesting too. Contribution limits for IRAs are also going to increase from 6,000 to 6,500, a limit that hasn't changed since 2019. So as we take a look at these new limits, is there anything that's standing out to you here?
Right. So we see that $500 increase, which is, an added bonus, here that we can start to contribute more starting in 2023. We also have a $1,000 additional catch up going into the 401ks as well. So for those people over the age of 50, they have the opportunity to contribute an additional $7,500 on top of the new $22,500. So we can get $30,000 max into a 401k, either traditional or a 401k Roth option, depending on income, and job opportunities and who is offering that plan.
Right. I'm glad you're bringing up Roths because that leads into my next question. The IRS is also raising the income threshold for which tax deductions for IRA contributions will be phased out, which brings up your old favorite, tax planning. Most of us are contributing to our 401k, but they're also known as a retirement tax bomb. So explain why somebody would consider an account where they're paying their taxes now.
Right. So, since 401ks were started back in the early 80s, we've been conditioned as Americans to just put money into that 401k and save for our own retirement rather than having those defined benefit pension plans. Companies have gone away from that. So continue to put money and put money into this. And while we're in a higher tax bracket in our earning years, we expected to be in a lower tax bracket, when we get into retirement. Well, with the debt ceiling, and the debt that our country has in general, we're seeing that taxes are probably going to go up in the future. So if we expect that we're in a lower tax rate now, it makes more sense to be paying those taxes now when, our future marginal, rates go up. If we expect that, we're still in a higher marginal rate today, though, that's where it makes more sense to keep contributing to those IRA buckets and then pay those taxes later on. And you can still do tax planning later on as well by doing Roth conversions, when you're first into your retirement years. Maybe that's before Social Security or after you elect Social Security, but looking at different ways to get money from those pre-tax buckets into a Roth bucket and, have those tax-free assets long into your retirement years.
All right. Well, again, this just kind of underscores the importance of having these conversations about tax planning early. That makes a lot of sense. If anybody has questions about what you're bringing up, Nick, what's the best way to reach you?
Right. You can reach out to us on our website, www.eikenberryretirement.com. You can give us a call at 937-498-1128. You can either schedule an appointment online or schedule an appointment on the phone. Sit down with us and we can talk about these different tax strategies.
All right. Perfect. Nick, thank you.
Thanks, Erin.